by our own national characteristics.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree, right?
I agree. Yes, so we cannot just copy the legal system in the United States.
When we come back, we'll examine yet another interesting issue. It's about why we should be expected to combine severity with leniency in gauging and judging and examining a case. But you are watching Voices and Votes. Now, we will take a short break right now. Please stay with us.
Lean onto your body, and true love, they can be no distance.
In love's true romance, the Chinese color is my only choice. True love for real man. The 7-brand Chinese color. True Love series.
Come to Hangzhou. Discover the mystery of China. Come to Hangzhou. Discover the mystery of China. Jiandao Lake, an ideal holiday city.
CCTV 9, China's only English-language news channel, broadcasts throughout China and across the globe. CTV Golden Bridge is CCTV International's exclusive advertising agent and can put your company in touch with an audience of millions.
Welcome back. Now, this is a defining moment for the rule of law on Voices and Votes. Dr. Charles Li, you seem to have reserved your opinion about the origin of the widespread and rampant corruption in not only China. Maybe you can set other examples to illustrate the complexity of this issue. What can you tell us?
I believe the ultimate source of corruption comes from within people and people's heart. And that one fundamental feeling is greed.
Greed.
And greed, in my opinion, is the beginning of corruption. And that corruption can come from tangible forms or intangible forms. Tangible forms in terms of the materialistic gain, intangible forms such as power. So in order to reduce or eventually stamp out corruption, you have to start with education. Let people know there are more valuable, more enjoyable things to have than just greed. And unfortunately, the capitalistic movement we have worldwide today is emphasizing the external reward and not enough on the internal reward. So
it seems greed is very much like hunger for food and sex for pleasure. It's part of the human nature and part of the human dynamics, one way or another. Having said this, I wonder, Lehman, you can offer your perspective about the origin of corruption.
Well, again, I don't disagree with Dr. Li at all. I think that the idea that people want to have more and people want to have more power and they want to have more materialism. However, I think that it goes back to education, absolutely goes back to education from the beginning. You know, the Jesuits used to say, give me a child between the ages of 1 and 7 and I'll give you the man. And so as a result, I think we need to start at the very youngest, on the very youngest level and create a generation of people who are respecting laws and regulations. And I think we're getting there. And I am very optimistic about the situation as it stands today. I look at the more than 200 lawyers that we have in our firm. These are Chinese people. who are working at the law firm. The young people in their 20s are probably more enlightened than those in their 30s and those in their 40s and those in their 50s. And so I'm totally encouraged by the enthusiasm. I'm totally encouraged by people who are excited about law. Whereas, 20 years ago, it was better to be a taxi driver than a
Thank you very much for painting a rosy picture about the future of China's rule of law. But Professor He, it seems that when the market economy was first introduced to China, a majority of the consumers or Chinese citizens were caught unprepared for what could happen in most probability in terms of, for example, corruption. And Dr. Charles Li alluded to a very interesting chapter of a discussion. That's the human greed, which seems to be insatiable in most cases. And do you think this is an excuse? Do you think education is the sole therapy?
I think that this, we may not use the word excuse, but this is an important factor. But I would put another word, that's the environment, the social environment. We're all human beings. I think that the human nature, we are selfish, self-centered. We want a privilege in the societies. But why in some countries or in some districts, all the human beings are not corrupted? But in some other societies or districts, officials or human beings are corrupted. So that's a social environment. So I think now our social environment has been somehow polluted, this must be a long story, but this is my
pollution is a very heavy word. But Charles, you want to say something?
Well, you mentioned the word pollution. I recognize and acknowledge that China has big pollution problems: air pollution, water pollution, environmental pollution. But I believe the ultimate pollution is the pollution of hearts.
Hearts and minds.
Hearts.
Yes.
More hearts than mind, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much for your time and views. There is obviously a shift of emphasis from a no-loud fight against organized economic crimes, anti-corruption within and without the law enforcement personnel, to the current top priority of safeguarding public livelihoods. Both Mr. Xiao Yang and Mr. Jia Chunwang echo the same concern that human rights have to be protected in shaping their guidelines and in their practice above all. This is no easy job given the challenges ahead. Well, before we go, here is an outline of Tuesday's agenda for the NPC and the CPPCC sessions and what to expect in tomorrow's edition of Voices and Votes. NPC deputies will hold group discussions on the judicial and procuratorial work reports. Officials from the National Development and Reform Commission, or the NDRC, and the State Environmental Protection Administration will hold a press conference on energy efficiency and environmental protection. And NPC deputies and the CPPCC members will listen to reform plans of the State Council's organizations. So join us tomorrow for Voices and Votes as we discuss the reform plans. For more information, please log on to our website, english.cctv.com. I'm Yang Rui. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow at the same time. Until then,